Snap more than the ball? We've got specialists for that. Jump shot, leave your knee shot? We've got specialists for that. Face down after that face off? We've got specialists for that. Orlin and Cohen's top orthopedic team has specialized expertise and extensive training from the nation's premier programs in sports medicine, knee, shoulder, hip, spine, hand, foot, and ankle. So you can feel better, faster.
On this night, Halloween, Henry Hernandez, he's got his Cristiano Ronaldo costume on as Glen Cove and Garden City. They're used to this stage. Will it be tricks or treats tonight? Glen Cove, Garden City, the Nassau Class AA Final. And it's brought to you live here on the Varsity Media Sports Network by Orlin and Cohen Orthopedic Group. So much thanks to them for making this possible. Well, we welcome you inside the booth. Dylan Butler alongside Rob Anderson for a clash of GCs, two teams that are very familiar with each other. They seem to almost always meet in the postseason with a lot on the line, obviously, and certainly the case here tonight. Garden City coming in as the favorite. Top seed, undefeated all year. They've been the class of the AA. Glen Cove, they do what they seemingly do every year, right? Slow start, a little bit of a faster middle of the season, and then they power through the postseason. They're the 7th seed, but they are scary dangerous tonight.
Yeah, you said it. I mean, on paper, when you look at the numbers, they don't match up. But when you look at the fields, which we've had plenty of, absolutely a fantastic matchup. You've got a team in Garden City that looks so collectively built to win this year. They are the Yankees of the Class AA. I know, bad timing, sorry. But on the other side, Glen Cove, maybe the best player in Nassau County.
Well, to your point, the Yankees don't always win, do they? And Garden City these last 2 years, they haven't won. They've been here. They've been the best team. The best teams don't always win. When we take a look at the bracket, you can see how these two teams got here. Garden City, a certainly more comfortable semifinal, really a more comfortable route, right, to the final, beating Great Neck North, New Hyde Park, not yet conceding a goal. And on the other side, Glen Cove and Jericho, one of the games of this postseason. Glen Cove emerged victorious, beating Jericho 3-2. And who do they lean on in that one? That is our impact player. Certainly one of our two impact players, right, for Glen Cove. Henry Hernandez to score a hat trick in a semifinal game. That is next level.
Next level, and to score it in the ways that he did. He had one where he created separation and tapped it in. He had a banger on the game winner and a beautiful play off the post. Henry Hernandez, perhaps the best player in the county. Jordan Flores, perhaps the toughest player in the county. He can match up one-on-one with anybody. He creates a lot of space, covers for his wingers. He's just a man amongst boys on that back line.
Big Red 12-5-2 on the season. The 7th seed here in Nassau Class AA. Good look there at two key players for this one. Obviously, really three. That's a great shot we got there. Christopher Hernandez, Henry Hernandez, and then Jordan Flores right next to him. For Garden City, yes, listen, it's the same. It's a few different parts, but the same result, right? Undefeated, untied, a perfect 18-0-0 going into the county final. They did that last year, and they lost in overtime to Manhasset. Those guys that you see on the field there, that was the beginning of their preparation to get to this stage here. And again, they have been unbelievable doing so. 78 goals for, 6 goals against the entire season.
Yeah, Garden City, a stalwart, and a big reason why there. You see Mr. Woodbine, big number 36, played up top the other day, but is going to be able to settle back into that defensive position at will because Miles Watson is back on the field.
Look at the eyes there for Justin Woodbine. He's locked in. And somehow we have the same setup here. I love it. Chris Sweeney must have set that up because you got Woodbine and Griffin right next to each other there. And Woodbine has, listen, if Henry Hernandez is the best player in the county, Justin Woodbine is the most dynamic. He's a guy who impacts the game in a big way in multiple levels.
Yeah, he's a big body up there. When he gets in the box on those free kicks, corner kicks, he can do some damage up top, and Woodbine can mark up with anybody. Connor Griffin, we've been singing his praises all year, captain and a 3-year starter, and big things out of Connor. He can see the field well, distribute well, and just a nuisance on the field.
And let's meet the starters now. First for Glen Cove in a 4-3-3 formation. From left to right in the back, Oliveira, Flores, and Flores. Rivas as well. Double pivot in the back, Andrade and Parodies. Guerra at the attacking midfield up front. Henry Hernandez, Danilo Gonzalez, Miguel Rivera, and in goal, an outstanding keeper. Somehow both of these keepers with 11 clean sheets on the year. Christopher Hernandez has been excellent all year. The senior has really led the charge for this Glen Cove team, even through those early struggles.
And I would tell you, Dylan, honestly, I think the best look we got of him was versus Jericho. He turned it up a notch, competition during the regular season with that defense.
Take a quick break. We'll show you the Garden City starters, keys, and more. You're watching the Nassau Class AA final on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Snap more than the ball? We've got specialists for that. Jump shot, leave your knee shot? We've got specialists for that. Face down after that face off? We've got specialists for that. Orlin and Cohen's top orthopedic team has specialized expertise and extensive training from the nation's premier programs in sports medicine, knee, shoulder, hip, spine, hand, foot, and ankle. So you can feel better, faster.
High school sports fans, Varsity Media is the exclusive live stream partner of Nassau County Championships. To live stream fall, winter, and spring championship events, head to varsitymediapass.com to order. Now accessible on smart TVs. Varsity Media is your home for the Nassau County Championships.
Back at Farmingdale State College, Dylan Butler, Rob Anderson, our entire Varsity Media crew. Anthem is played, and we're just about set for the opening kickoff. Let's meet the starters now for Garden City. They're in a 4-3-3 formation as well, an unchanged 11, and we'll talk more about that as we go along. Antoletti, Fargione, Coster, and Fisher. In the back, Griffin, Schreier, and Profeta. That middle trio, Costa and Klein on either wing, and Woodbine again starting up front. Miles Watson not in the 11, but we do expect to see a lot of him. And in the goal, Ian Pupke. He's made about half the saves that his opposing goalie has, but he's also got the same amount of clean sheets. Not been tested, but he's been solid when he's needed to be.
Yeah, that was the story even versus a New Hyde Park team there. And at one point during the game, Dylan, you pointed out, how do you stay calm and focused? And when those shots came, he made some very athletic saves. He's got a big boot, sees the field well, but doesn't get pressed too much with that sensational defense right out in front of him.
So Glen Cove, Garden City, no strangers certainly. So how do you unlock the other team? Well, we'll show you our keys now to the game.
And if you take a look at Glen Cove, it is a team idea in all of the keys to the game. They want to press together. They want to counter quickly, which we know they certainly can do. Take advantage of space, which is tough against a Garden City team that locks down. They are organized and alert defensively. They can handle the occasion and play their game. They've been here before and take their chances. You got to test Hernandez early. You got to test this defense early. Shoot, shoot, shoot is the key for some Garden City success.
Our referees for tonight's contest. Checking his watch, there is our lead official, Bobby Baldwin. The assistant referees, Kenny Heller and Sal Vizone. And your fourth official is Randy Geyer. For Garden City and Glen Cove, we'll meet the coaches now. For Glen Cove, Brian Smith in his 13th season at the helm. You don't sleep a lot in the postseason. Brian Smith has not. A 1996 graduate of Plainview High School. Smith hoping to lead Glen Cove football to another county title. On the other side, it's Mr. Newcastle himself, Paul Cutter. 14th season at the helm. He played his collegiate soccer at Leeds University. Assistant coach for Paul Cutter, Luke Connolly. We'll mention more about that Connolly name as we go along in this sportscast.
And Dylan, as little sleep as he has on the other side for Cutter, his hair's perfect all the time.
Glen Cove, the lower seed, they're the visitors on the scoreboard. They are wearing the away whites. Garden City in their traditional maroons. Woodbine so tall, hard to even fit him in the frame of Jeff Damo's camera. And the Nassau Class AA final has kicked off. Heavy touch, and Woodbine tracking in on Hernandez. Ball headed at midfield. And now GC, well, I can't say that, can I? Garden City looks to possess.
Yeah, we're going to see who is the real GC tonight, who's going to be walking proud with those letters.
Every time you say that, I think of Eminem, like the real Slim Shady. Will the real GC please stand up?
And that's what the theme is today, right, Dylan? I mean, they have a history.
Yeah, we'll detail that as we go along. Fisher steps in, clips it up this near sideline. An errant clearance, and this will go for a fortunate throw for Garden City. And it sounds like the Garden City student body in full voice. Down to our left. Also, looking pretty good in their costumes as well on this Halloween night. Ball headed out to the top. Fisher serves it back in, and there's the clearance for Glen Cove. Settling touch. Ball looking for Woodbine's head. He can still track onto this second ball. It's loose. Sent across the edge of the 18. Garden City, the more dangerous side these first 90 seconds or so. Woodbine heads it into space, and it's cleared out by the Big Red.
Yeah, and Dylan, on that attack, they found Woodbine. It was a fortuitous event that Frank Andrade fell down, and he tripped up Woodbine. Otherwise, he had an open path. But he's going to be a handful and a mismatch size-wise all game long.
Coster plays it to the middle. And that's Connor Griffin, one of our impact players. Turning is Profeta. Scored in the semifinals, scored in the quarterfinals. Jack Costa as well, 3-year varsity player. Coster up the sideline of Fisher. Settles after a bad first touch. And now Costa. This is what Garden City does, Rob, right? They push the ball around. They'll go sideline to sideline. And they'll kill you with 1,000 passes.
And the fluidity of the movement, even when you saw Costa handle the ball, just kind of know where they go, like they're running a drill out on the field.
And there's space to do so as well. There's a shot from distance. That's blocked. Fisher runs onto that second ball. Excuse me, that's Coster, and he'll also have a goal. Those two shots not testing Christopher Hernandez.
Goal kick for the Big Red, Christopher Hernandez.
You mentioned some of the history between these two teams. There's been a lot of it. They did actually meet in the regular season as Woodbine wins the ball on this sideline. Gets past the slide tackle. Woodbine powers that cross across the face of goal and out, but you can see how much of a handful Justin Woodbine will be here tonight.
Goal kick by Hernandez.
It's going to be fun watching that matchup, especially our feature center back Jordan Flores there. He's a physical player, and I think that's going to be one of the keys. You don't want to foul, but you want to make Woodbine very uncomfortable. Too much space, not a good thing.
A year ago in the semifinals, Garden City won 2-1. Tommy Paz with the brace for the Trojans. The year before that, it was Glen Cove with a 2-0 win. That in the county final, Londell Wheeler and Henry Hernandez scoring for the Big Red. The year before that, Nassau Class A final, Garden City 3-2. Finn Connolly, the game-winning goal with 8:41 left. So yes, a lot of history of big matches between these two programs. Good interception in the midfield. That's Frank Andrade.
Back to our keys, that's one of the things that Glen Cove is going to want to do. And again, Coach Cutter's saying they need to stay alert defensively, Garden City does, because they can counter really quickly and move up as a solid unit and get that ball to Henry Hernandez.
And the big question is, when will Miles Watson step into the game, and how then will that impact things formationally for Garden City? Woodbine has done an outstanding job as that number 9. Watson, though, and Hernandez, those are your top two scorers in Nassau County this year. Here comes Fisher down the right flank. Takes it first time, clips it toward Woodbine. Finds Klein on the far side. Klein's cross was blocked, and it will go out for our first corner of the match. And we've seen throughout this postseason, Rob, how impactful set pieces are.
Corner kick for the Trojans, number 4, Luca Profeta.
Profeta to take. Takes it short to Costa. Returns the pass. Profeta. Cross headed at the near post, still alive. Second header. And then a foul was called against the Trojans.
Yeah, just taking that ball a little too hard in there. It shows you how aggressive they are. Make Hernandez uncomfortable early in the game.
And the other interesting thing to watch, another one of those games within the game, how do you handle defensively Henry Hernandez?
Henry is a one-man wrecking machine out there. And there he is, number 10, getting into the screen, trying to get some touches here as he's tripped up.
He is tripped up. First or second foul there against Garden City. Hernandez has an incredible proficiency to score in the biggest moments for Glen Cove. How about 3 game-winning goals in this postseason and 8 now in the last 4 years? So if Glen Cove win a postseason game, the odds are pretty likely that Henry Hernandez scored the winner. Andrade plays it backwards. Return pass, though, goes out of touch. And we will have our first sub. It's Garden City. Is that Miles Watson coming in? It is. You could hear it from the fan base. Watson has missed the last 2 postseason games. And there he goes, exploding for this ball. Miles Watson unable to grab from Hernandez. Watson on the year, 25 goals, which is the number that Henry Hernandez has as well. It's a nice super sub to have.
It certainly is, and you said it. I mean, the crowd went wild. They've been anticipating it. They had the luxury of being able to sit him out the entire game versus New Hyde Park. And
onside for Garden City, ball to the back post. Profeta unable to run onto it, and it's cleared out for a goal kick. We'll stop the clock here as well. And what do we have? Perhaps there's blood. It is a substitution that referee Bobby Baldwin has called for. And we talked about how does it tactically change things for Garden City. Well, Woodbine moving back into the midfield where he's been for the majority of this season.
Trojans throwing. Number 13, Connor Griffin.
So Griffin to throw. Second ball, clear, but only to the edge of the 18. Profeta, left-footed opportunity, sends it high into the air.
Glen Cove defense really packing it in there and making sure that nothing gets forced up the middle or through the middle. So a good job there, but Garden City applying some pretty consistent pressure thus far, Dylan.
Luca Profeta, I went to high school with his dad, Peter, same class as well at St. Francis Prep. He went on and played at Fordham University, now coaching at New York Hoda. Glen Cove, and there you try to find Henry Hernandez. Ball clipped out of bounds for a throw-in for the Big Red.
Throw-in for Glen Cove.
To this point, Rob, Glen Cove not having a lot of the ball in the first 10 minutes of this one. It's been more Garden City asking the questions.
Yeah, they're giving Garden City a ton of respect, as they should. But we do know, and we've seen, that it's just one takeaway and one quick transition, and all of a sudden everybody's on their heels. And that's the threat that they offer, and that's a threat that Coach Cutter is definitely familiar with and ready for.
Cut back at the corner flag, back across the frame, and Pupke pulls that cross down. And now this is where we've seen him be at his best because he hasn't been tested often, right? It's about his organizational skills, getting the attack started. And what a ball, clipped over the top. It's a foot race. Was there a handball? None given, and it will be a throw-in as so Watson racing down for that one.
Throwing for the Trojans.
Ball played back, and GC will possess. Griffin. Costa, and now down the left, Antoletti. Cuts it inside. Griffin takes the space. Costa. Feta turns, goes backwards. Garden City, they will not force a shot.
And right now, Glen Cove not forcing the issue.
Yeah, they're letting them play from up top. Woodbine got a touch just momentarily. Second ball tracked down by Profeta. Woodbine turns, clips, looking inside, trying to find Watson. It was cleared out to midfield. Costa attacks the space, headed by Watson, although it went back across the goal.
Garden City does this. You know, they're going to try to wear you down. You hope that they don't try to be too perfect. Otherwise, those shots never come. But they'll wear you down, and I think maybe Glen Cove just doesn't want to give chase and have their tongues hanging out of their mouths in the next 10 minutes. But they need to put a little more pressure and make them uncomfortable, get that ball to get up the field.
They do win it back, but that's now they're under duress, and Fisher takes it over and comfortably keeps this possession alive for the Trojans. This field tilted for the guys in maroon. Ball over the top. There's Watson, heads it, and Hernandez well off his line.
Beautiful save there by Hernandez to anticipate and challenge Woodbine. That's a big body coming down, but Hernandez no slouch himself. Really nice play there to break that up. But again, Dylan, you said it. Garden City just looks like they're playing with time. Rope-a-dope, you mentioned that before. Garden City, maybe Glen Cove sitting back a little.
Well, the good thing for Glen Cove here, and then although they didn't really do that against Jericho, is it's a similar style, right? Where Garden City will possess, they'll go sideline to sideline, they'll try to stretch out this wide field. So even though it's different, there's obviously differences within every team. They've seen the template in this previous round.
Yeah, it's a great point. It is pretty similar, and it was a close match. It was a very close scoring affair, 3-2, back and forth. Glen Cove took the lead each and every time.
The difference here, though, too, is Garden City, they're the most complete team in Nassau County and maybe in the state. There's Coster. He'll attack a space. Trying to find the feet of Costa. And you see the pressure comes more, not at midfield, right? With the back, they'll allow the back to possess. But it's that next pass before you get to the 18 that it appears where that pressure is coming in. Fisher, the throw. Father Dan, a long-time soccer coach on Long Island. I once worked with him back when he was the head coach of the Brooklyn Knights. That team, back in the PDL days, like the early 2000s, they played at the Met Oval. You had, I want to say, 3 or 4 future MLS players part of that team. Chris Winger, Gary Sullivan, 2 of them. You had Shalry Joseph, who had a terrific career with the New England Revolution.
And Dan Fisher, class of 92, Cary High School. I was supposed to graduate with him, but they wanted my services another year. And he was a phenomenal high school soccer player as well.
Well played the feet. That's what Garden City will do. And here is the younger Fisher, Dylan Fisher. We say it all the time about those guys. Terrific soccer IQ because you're the son of a coach. Profeta stretches out. He is as well. Profeta. And again, Garden City. They will probe. That cross was blocked. They still keep possession. Profeta and Fisher play a 1-2. Profeta puts his head up, looks towards Woodbine. Woodbine heads it. And I think his idea was trying to get it to Costa, but it went off the line, and we'll have a couple more substitutions. One for each team, and it's Woodbine who comes out. So I believe that was Schreier who checked in for him.
Yeah, Schreier, one of those guys that's been coming off the bench, getting a lot more playing time with Watson's injuries. Only a sophomore on this team, and I was talking to his dad, Greg, before the game, a fantastic artist, art teacher at East Meadow. And he was giving me the whole lowdown. As a sophomore, it's tough to break into this lineup.
Well, there will be plenty of opportunity when you look up and down this roster of all these seniors on this team. And even just within the midfield group, right? Connor Griffin, Luca Profeta, and Justin Woodbine, all seniors. So some valuable minutes that Schreier is getting this year when he would look to be one of the guys anchoring that midfield trio in this 4-3-3.
And that's what Coach Cutter said. He plans on giving Schreier a lot of minutes in the next 2 years. It's going to be his midfield. And it's almost like a tutorial.
Yeah, you're like an apprentice, right? You're learning on the job. Some fancy footwork. And Pupke again. Didn't have to make a save, but he pulled down that cross. And not that we have a separate camera on Henry Hernandez, but if we did, not many touches yet for the Glen Cove superstar.
And looking a little frustrated that the ball's not getting to him.
Profeta. You go to the far sideline. Profeta, that's what you want, right? Out of your number 10. You give it, and you look for it back again. Fisher. And I'll say, even though Glen Cove is ceding a lot of that possession, especially in midfield, neither team looking nervous to be on this stage. Both feel very comfortable back on this field at Farmingdale State College, back playing for a county title. Ball into the box. Nice turn. Settled by Fisher. He wants to play a 1-2. An important slide tackle. You didn't win the ball, but you stopped something dangerous there by Adrian Oliveira, 2-year starter. And perhaps right on cue, right? His head coach in our notes said he has great anticipation. Woodbine back on for Garden City. And right on cue because he's in for the dangerous throw, right?
You said it. That's exactly what I was just about to say.
Griffin to send it in. Trying to find the head of Woodbine. It goes backwards. It was actually off a couple of Glen Cove players. Garden City maintain possession. Costa. And listen, sometimes this game is pretty simple. The more that you have the ball, the less that Henry Hernandez has the ball.
That's the truth. But right now, Glen Cove packing it in so much defensively. It looks like it's going to be really difficult to create that space. Garden City looks like toying with them.
Ball played to Woodbine. Chested down, fired. Just wide of the mark. Good looking opportunity for Garden City.
Just under halfway through the first half.
Yeah, that was Jack Klein there on that shot. And like you said, probably the second best scoring opportunity right now off the mark. But Garden City's got to, I feel like, I don't know, I can't say anything because they're doing what they do, but maybe to start making it a little uglier in front of the net. They're playing that perimeter so much. And Glen Cove not really biting, just kind of sitting back saying, all right, are you going to take the shot?
Woodbine. He is so fluid, and what a terrific ball right at the edge of the 18. Hernandez came off, but he had to scamper back. I mean, he put just enough perfectly on that ball, Woodbine. But I'm so impressed, again, with such a big body. Every time he turns, it is so fluid. Throw in for Glen Cove. Fisher off his chest. Actually, our official Bobby Baldwin said off his hand.
We'll see if Glen Cove can now build off the free kick.
But now if you're Glen Cove, right, Rob, like, you've not had a lot of the ball, you've not attacked a lot, but you can't be impatient. You can't force things here because then you fall right back into the same thing, right, where Garden City can keep possession. That one skips through to the edge of the 18. That's where Costa is. Nice touch. Oliveira called for the foul. First foul called against Glen Cove tonight.
So far, a lot of patience by Glen Cove. I don't want to say uncharacteristically, but they're not as frantic as they usually are and pressing like they usually are. So patience is definitely the key to their game right now as well.
Charlie Costa to the... Oh, and a foul called on that slide tackle. That was Xavier Lizarraga. A dangerous chance here for Garden City. I think you might be a little bit too far out of shot at goal, but we have like 20 players, it feels like, all lined up. They look like they're on the platform at the LIR during rush hour. Just everyone. You can see it there at the bottom, or the top, I should say, of your screen. Here's the ball clipped in. And that right to Hernandez, no problem. Quick outlet trying to find Henry Hernandez's foot. A rare touch for Glen Cove's talisman. Miguel Rivera to Hernandez. Trying to go back to Rivera. Pupke, no problem.
And those are the Pupke saves. We've talked about it. You know, a lot of them just bouncing, controlling the game, quarterbacking, trying to get a quick release, move his team up the field.
And this is where you were seeing Glen Cove press on the other side of midfield. Or maybe just picking their spot, right?
Trying to tilt it a little bit and get some energy. Am I wrong? Like, the energy level just feels different for them, and it could be the respect that they're giving Garden City. And I don't mean energy in like a negative way. It's usually a lot more pressure.
I think you have to pick your spots against Garden City. You know, and we're not in their training session. Who knows? They might have said, listen, first 20, let them do what they want. Anything out with their defenders. But for the final 20, we press.
Adrian Oliveira.
If it was the advice, it's first 25. We're still waiting for the press. They're trying. You know, it's just I feel like they're not building the way we saw in the last game and what we know they're capable of.
I think it's a combination of respect, but also a realization that, you know, all 10 field players, and actually 11 if you include Pupke, can play with the ball on their feet. Right, so if you press one guy, they can play those little triangle games and quickly get out of it, and now they've got a numerical advantage. Woodbine looking for Fisher. That's intercepted by Rivera. A little flick of the heels by Henry Hernandez. And the ball served over the top. Watson looking for it. And now there is Hernandez. That's a little bit of a pick, and now Glen Cove pushing forward. And you could feel the energy from their fan base on that first kind of true foray towards the 18-yard box. 26th minute, still no score. And that's what we were saying. Look at how quickly Garden City can get out of that, and they'll switch the field. Good block on that Woodbine attempted cross. Hernandez takes it away. Now he is marked by Woodbine, 2 of our 4 impact players. And that ball will be out of bounds for a goal kick. Substitutions for Garden City. They always say GC.
You got you thinking now about it, right? What's impressive, too, is how they switch the field. A lot of teams, they don't need that long ball to just, like, transition. They do it in yards. 3 guys get the touch before it gets to the other side.
Well, I hate making those cross-sport analogies, but it's kind of like in baseball where you have to hit the cutoff man, right? You don't need to fire it from right field to home plate. And that's what Garden City is doing. They're not doing those, like you said, big switches from one flank to the other, but they're utilizing the center of the park where they are so strong and dangerous. There's a ball clipped over the top, and now it's raced down upon. Nice turn by Klein. Throw in for Garden City. And Will Woodbine. Looks like he's slowly making his way into the box.
throw-in for Garden City by Connor Griffin.
And Griffin backs up to the last lane of this track. Sends it in the mix, headed cleared by Glen Cove. Some head tennis being played. Profeta got his head on it. There's Hernandez. Picks it up at midfield. And he wins a throw-in.
And it was a very animated Connor Griffin there after he got that ball away. A little fist pump.
And much like his idol, Cristiano Ronaldo, he puts a nice jolt into this crowd when he's on the ball.
He certainly does. He's an exciting player. They know what they get. All 3 goals in the last round. I wonder too, Dylan, if perhaps Glen Cove doesn't want to foul anybody. They don't want to make a mistake in the defensive zone, and maybe another reason why there's some space for Garden City to move the ball. We've seen a lot of plays, a lot of games changed on the free kick or the corner kick. And both offenses too dangerous to give up any of those.
That's where you see the press. Right, ball in the corner by the midfield. 3 Glen Cove players over it. It's a throw for Garden City. Here's Woodbine. He'll win probably 80% of the balls in his vicinity, in his airspace. In the semifinals, Garden City, they beat New Hyde Park 4-0. Jack Costa, a couple of goals. Luca Perfetta, a goal and an assist. Woodbine, a goal. Klein with 2 assists. Pupke made 5 saves for another clean sheet. A comfortable win, and then the nightcap, it was an absolute classic between Glen Cove and Jericho. And Glen Cove 3 times via goals from Henry Hernandez took a lead, and twice Jericho leveled. But the hat-trick goal proved to be the difference as Glen Cove emerged victorious 3-2.
Under 10 minutes left in the first half.
Not a person I spoke to that didn't think that was one of the greatest games that they've seen in a playoff, including one of our color analysts, Al Freeman, who, like you said earlier, has seen so many games. And just an instant classic, that Jericho-Glen Cove game.
I didn't ask Al this question, but I'm going to venture to guess the number of Nassau County soccer games that he's seen over the years. 837.
That's what you're going with?
Yeah.
It's a good number.
Are you going over with that or under? I was originally thinking like 1,000.
You might go there. I mean, he's up at the States all the
Yes,
time. You got to figure those weekends he's getting
multiple games.
A dozen. Yeah, Al's, as a coach, he's been everywhere. And we said the other day, a treasure trove of information. The history, what he's seen, sensational.
Goal kick for Ian Pupke.
Pupke, the goal kick. Plays it short. And this is where there'll be a little bit of pressure for Glen Cove. Because a turnover here, well, that could result in something dangerous pretty quickly. That's Jacob Cooper in. Sliding in, it looks like for Dylan Fisher at right back. Ball played over the top. Woodbine now chases. Garden City will press as well. Cooper steps up. But here comes Glen Cove. Rivera. Hernandez in the box. Takes a touch. Still on it. Look at Henry Hernandez. The control. Draws a double. Tries to split them. But is cleared to midfield. Those guys love what they see. Here comes Miles Watson. 1v4. Watson. He was saying, and I think he was right, he was pulled from behind, wanted Bobby Baldwin, the official, to pull out the card. Some nice Garden City fans there.
Oh, looking for a card also, I think, over there. Super Mario.
Yeah, Super Mario in there.
But, yeah, he had an argument. Justin Flores, you know, they'll sell him one if he wants it that bad. But almost pulled the jersey off of Watson.
Connor Griffin, the throw. Falls dangerously in front. But still alive. Nice turn. Here's Woodbine. The second chip, easy save for Hernandez. His second of this first half. And now an interception for Garden City. Trojans will possess. Again, Cooper making a run down the right flank. Here's Woodbine. There is no position that Justin Woodbine isn't comfortable, one, playing, and two, dominating. Coster. And now Woodbine. Takes his space. Woodbine fires, takes a deflection, and then Hernandez makes the save. You got concerned when you saw the deflection because that can go any which way, right, off a defender's foot. High punt. Now a chance for a Glen Cove throw.
Garden City now, too. I was just going to say, when they're coming down on the attack, Dylan, they're not even moving that much. They're kind of just staying stationary, moving it station to station.
Good ball-winning tackle, but Klein comes away looking for Watson. Miles Watson takes a touch. Watson in the box. He goes down, clear to midfield. That's where Woodbine is. And Watson still down in the box. Struggling to get up, did not play in either of Garden City's previous two playoff games. Picked up a knock in a scrimmage with Carl Place that took place between the end of the regular season and the start of the postseason.
And what's a pretty cool matchup there, the Bs and the Double A's never playing each other, but two teams that know and have ambitions to go really deep in the playoffs. And Watson, you can just see the tremendous amount of speed that he has, tries to get it to the foot to settle it down, but they've got their mark on him, especially number 5 back there, Jordan Flores, who's been remarkable throughout this entire playoff.
Costa kind of slaloms his way to the left, and again, the ball looking for Miles Watson.
4 minutes left in the first half.
And the same tactic, right? You let him play. Here's Woodbine, header, and a save. His 4th by Hernandez.
That's where you want to get it, to the head of Woodbine. And just to redirect at the net, but Hernandez right there.
Garden City again dominating possession. It's what they do.
Substitution on the field.
Cooper out, Fisher back in.
So just taking a peek at your unofficial stats, I wanted to see if you had any shots for Glen Cove. Nothing brewing yet.
Couple of crosses. No issue for Pupke on those. As it's Fisher. Now they'll switch to the left side. Penetrating ball picked off well, but the second ball falls to Woodbine. Here's Costa to his left. That shot blocked.
Costa a little difficulty settling it down. Looked like he had a look to begin with and then couldn't get the ball settled down and then kicked it right into the defender.
Here's Fisher. He again finds Costa. Costa, a little juggle. Gets by one defender, gets by a second. Gets central. Tries to get across to the far side. Knocked away. 38th minute. 0-0 the score. This the Nassau Class AA final. Garden City and Glen Cove, familiar foes in this matchup. A foul. This is a dangerous one. A free kick. And it's straight away for Garden City. As you see, holding the ankle was Tommy Schreier. So Baldwin will take the magic spray out and spray where the ball is, count off his 10 yards. So that's about 22, about 32 yards from goal. Profeta wants to set up his left foot. Profeta! Profeta! 1-0, Garden City.
Luca here. He's going to set up over the ball. And bang, take a look at that curve on it. And Hernandez dove a little late, and the ball hits the back of the net. And that's kind of what we were waiting for. I said if Glen Cove makes that kind of mistake against Garden City, it could easily result in a tally 1-0. And now we'll see if we look at a much different approach from this Glen Cove team.
I don't know, as we're inside the final minute, I don't know what Profeta's recruitment looks like, but maybe the coaches here at Farmingdale State need to get on him. He loves this field. You look back, right, the previous round, scored a goal, had an assist as well. And now on Nassau County's championship field, make it 2 goals and an assist, and the only goal to this point in the county final. Hernandez, bumped by Woodbine. Hernandez is down, and there'll be several Glen Cove players asking the question of our official, Bobby Baldwin. Another look.
Yeah, Woodbine tried to slow up. Hernandez sold it pretty well on the way down.
So big.
He's a big guy, and he couldn't slow down. And when you put the hands up to stop the shoulder hit, but Hernandez no worse to wear. Looking for that call is what was going on there, perhaps a card.
Final 10 seconds of this first half. Garden City, they've dominated possession. And through Luca Profeta, number 4, who's getting congratulations from his teammates as he crosses midfield. The Trojans have a 1-0 lead. What a goal by Luca Profeta. Have a go, my son. Left foot, bullet from distance. And that's the difference in this Nassau Class AA final. Garden City 1, Glen Cove 0. You're watching it all right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Thank you for watching Varsity Media, the leaders in New York high school sports coverage.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, so you're here watching the Varsity Media halftime report throughout the playoffs. I'm joined by State Representative, the big man, and the color analyst, Al Freeman, and also by Mr. Instagram, the Instagram man, and head coach at Oyster Bay, Brian Donahue. Al, let's start out with you. The playoffs, an exciting time of year. What's Nassau bringing?
Nassau's bringing a very competitive set of classification playoffs, Brian and Rob. It's incredible. We've already started, and we've had some upsets in AAA. And today there's going to be some single A games, and I wouldn't bet against anybody winning each individual game today because it's that competitive.
Again, I'm going to piggyback on what Al said. You know, not only have we had an incredibly tight and awesome playoff games, right? We had a couple of OT games already. We've had a PK shootout already, but that is coming off the heels of a very competitive regular season. Out of our 7 conferences, only one of them, which is the AAAs, came down to crowning champions on the last day of the season. And even in the AAAs, this was a conference that was battling out for the number 2 and the number 3 seed on the last day of the season. So, we've gotten Nassau Soccer to a point where literally every single one of our leagues is very, very competitive. And there are some top-notch, high-level competitors sitting in these conferences. So as we go through, we look at guys like Miles Watson in Garden City with 24 regular season goals. He's a guy who can dominate a game. And for those of the guys out there who watch my Sunday night podcasts, I've been saying all along, a team like Glen Cove, you can't sleep on someone like Henry Hernandez. And when we saw him play his game last time, he scored 4 goals in a playoff game to push Glen Cove through. And then someone like AJ Galino for Plainage down in the A's, he's seemingly been a Newsday top 100 player for the last 4 years. I'm looking for someone like him to now go and dominate in a playoff game and now try and push that Plainage through. And then if you look at the Bees, you have Carl Place with their 2-headed monster of Leary and Jason Pereira in the midfield. Both of them were all-state players. And, we still haven't figured out a time when a team brought back 2 all-state players. And Ryan Leary has the possibility of being a 3-time all-state player.
And the best thing about having you, Brian, is that the Instagram has put out a great product, getting Nassau County Soccer to all the athletes. Varsity Media also this year doing a huge job with 12 games, 18 different teams, and then the generosity of Orlin and Cohen to make these playoffs free for all the parents and athletes in Nassau County. It's an amazing opportunity, and both of you have been a part of it as far as broadcasters. Just maybe a little quick, Al, your broadcasting experience, any highlights from the games you got to work with?
Well, first of all, I think it starts with the tremendous legwork that's done by both Dylan and John in getting information from the 2 teams and getting the coaches to open up. The information that they brought in really enhanced the broadcast and made the players and the coaches come alive to the audience.
I like seeing the other side of it, and it's a lot harder than it looks. For everyone out there who wants to think about getting into this side, it's so much harder than it looks. And, for me, I think it's starting to make me a better coach. I get to see a lot more teams than just my team and the few teams in Conference B, going to see all these teams on these other fields and trying to break down their games from now a color analyst perspective. It's putting the whole perspective of coaching in a different light.
For your coverage of the states and the playoffs in general, tell everybody about what they're going to get on Instagram, where they find you, and how they can get in touch.
So you can go to Nassau Soccer on Instagram, and, I'm going to be at all of the games going forward, well, as many as I can. I can't take half days from work as much as I would love to. We have games, kicking off at 2:00 in these quarterfinals, semifinal games. I'll be at every semifinal and final game going forward. I'll be at every Long Island Championship game going forward. And every one of Nassau County teams that go forward from the Long Island Championship, I'll be going up to the state games. I'll be up there. Send me clips, send me information about your players. And, all we care about on the Nassau Soccer Instagram page is promoting our teams and our players. And it's all about positivity in that community that we're creating there.
And nobody does it better, Bryce. So Nassau County's got a ton of great people working behind the scenes. Al Freeman, one of them. Thanks, Al, Brian. Awesome stuff, folks. You're watching All the Playoffs, sponsored by Orlin and Cohen for free here on the Varsity Media Network. Get ready for the second half and enjoy some playoff soccer.
Hi, I'm Dr. Craig Levitz. I'm the Chief of Sports Medicine at Northwell Health, as well as the Chief of Sports Medicine at Orlin and Cohen Orthopedics. Here to talk to you today a little bit about injuries we see in boys soccer players. With the playoffs coming up, we're always at increased risk of injury, particularly with the weather turning. And obviously the most common injury we worry about and see in soccer athletes is ACL injuries. Most other injuries are minor and treated easily with rehab and anti-inflammatories, and people don't miss a lot of time, but soccer is well known for the dreaded ACL injury. And we thought we'd spend some time today talking about early warning signs for that, prevention, things that can suggest this just needs Motrin, ice, and you can play the next day, versus signs and symptoms to get to a doctor as soon as possible. The most common sign or symptom of an ACL injury is a pop while you're playing. Now, these pops come in all makes and varieties. Some people feel a minor pop and are able to keep running, even finish parts of a game. Other people go down on the field and it's a significant injury. And then a lot of people are somewhere in between. But when a knee pops, 90% of the time it is the ACL that tears. The ACL actually just explodes, it doesn't tear. And the popping is you're hearing it exploding. In the absence of a pop, or even if you hear a pop and you think you're okay, there can be a whole host of other alternatives that it is. And it's really whether that pop occurs and how you're feeling the next day. The curveball being that even with an ACL injury, you can feel fine the next day and still tear your ACL. Because the pain is from the bleeding, and you can tear it and not have much bleeding because they come in all makes and varieties of severe tears and minor tears. Generally, if there's not a lot of swelling in your knee looks like your other knee, you can run without pain, you're probably okay, and working with the trainer and taking some anti-inflammatories is fine. On the other hand, if you're having increased pain or swelling when running, that swelling is often blood, and that would be highly suggestive of an injury, and that's where you should highly consider seeking an orthopedic attention as soon as possible. When I grew up, you had to rely on the orthopedic surgeon's hands. Now, in all of our facilities, we have an MRI readily available. Our firm belief is treating high school athletes like professional athletes. It's very rare you see someone come off the professional soccer field or football field with an injury and they haven't had an MRI the next day. It's already reported in the paper before, right after they have had their injury. We treat high school and college athletes the same way. If they get hurt, we want to be able to send them back onto the field safely and quickly. The high school season is short, it's 8 weeks. It's very easy for a doctor to say, sit out 4 weeks while we see if this is anything significant. But we would rather do an MRI right away and know exactly what is going on. So if it's not dangerous, we can get athletes back onto the field as soon as possible. Unfortunately, some people do have the dreaded ACL injury, and the only treatment for that is surgery. However, with newer techniques, people are getting back quicker and earlier, and it's no longer the career-ending injury that it was when I was a child. But now, I would say 99% of our athletes are back on the field within several months playing and participating as good as they ever were. So to sum up, in the future, if you hurt your knee, A, listen for the pop. That's a sign to see the doctor right away. B, if you're able to run and there's not much swelling and everything's fine and anti-inflammatories make it better, you're probably okay. But if there's any question at all, it's very easy to get a quick MRI and know things are good and get back out there.
Back at Farmingdale State College, second half about to begin. Dylan Butler, Rob Anderson, our entire varsity media crew. 1-0 the lead for Garden City in this, the Nassau Class AA final. Rob, let's take a look at some of those first half stats.
And they are very tilted. The scoreboard only 1-0 right now, but that's because Garden City's just been doing the possession game most of the game. They've got 10 shots off to 0 Glen Cove. Saves-wise, we got 4-0, so a lot of those shots sailing wide or going over the net. Only one corner kick so far. Fairly disciplined as far as fouls go, 3 apiece, and the offsides also exhibiting some discipline there. No offsides yet, but what matters is the scoreboard.
And the reason it's 1-0 for Garden City is this goal. Look at it again from field angle. Luca Profeta, full service on that left-footed free kick. A beautiful goal for the senior midfielder. His 10th of the season. So let's see. Both coaches went into the lab. What do they cook up here for the second half? What changes are made? I gotta imagine if you're Garden City, yeah, let's keep it the way it is.
Yeah, no changes. what's going on is working. Coach Smith, again, I don't think you want to make mistakes as far as fouls. You don't want to make mistakes as far as positioning, but the challenges need to get a little heavier. Garden City needs to know they can't just hold on to the ball and pass at will.
I think especially now, being down 1-0, that the pressure needs to come. It does there. And the Big Red dispossessed. They try to find the superstar, Henry Hernandez. But he quickly loses it, and Garden City pushes it ahead, looking for Miles Watson. Came in about 10 minutes into the first half after not playing in either of Garden City's first 2 postseason matches. Picked up a knock. We were at Jericho yesterday for the Class A's, right? So we texted Cutter and asked him a few different questions about formation and the lineups and the starters and keys. The last question we asked, how's Miles Watson? His response, Watson will play. As Woodbine sends it back to Fisher. And he's looked good, Watson has. Again, it's not been in and out, right? He did go down at one point in the first half. But Watson, whatever has ailed him to the point of missing earlier playoff games, and this the biggest of games for Garden City, the number 9 is back out there. Sprinting, using that speed, being dangerous. Woodbine picks up the second ball. Tried to find Costa, and it's intercepted. And now this is what we've been seeing from Glen Cove. Long ball trying to identify Hernandez. He's got the ball, and Hernandez probably could have been called for a foul. I'm not sure if Baldwin, he didn't signal for a play on. Or maybe, I mean, he had a great vantage point. Maybe he just thought it was a clean tackle.
Yeah, he didn't signal advantage at all, and Hernandez now at least getting his foot on the ball a little more. This Glen Cove team coming out with a little more purpose and tenacity.
And I think we're seeing that right there, right? The idea is let's locate Hernandez as quickly as we can, stretch the field vertically, and then come and join. Here's Costa. And now Garden City, like they're on the training pitch, right? Those short-sighted games that you guys always play. They're playing it right now in the midfield.
You don't want to burn your guys out, but you need to challenge. Take the ball away.
There's your goal scorer, Profeta. Costa to Fisher down the right side. Fisher takes a touch towards the corner flag, sends a dangerous cross, and it's picked up easily by Hernandez. Hernandez, a leader, has been huge for this Glen Cove program, especially in their biggest games. Making a run down this left side was Antoletti. But Garden City went the other way, and now it's Glen Cove with the ball. Brian Guerra, the sophomore. We mentioned earlier these two teams met in the regular season. That was a comfortable win for Garden City. But of course, as we've learned through the years from Glen Cove in September is significantly different than Glen Cove on the day before November.
It does feel like a Glen Cove tradition that they get much more comfortable as they go and become a top team, hence the 7 seed.
But as you're wondering, when will Glen Cove start to rev those engines?
You heard the engine in the background. Maybe that was it.
That might have been Hernandez getting ready. Here's Woodbine. Takes a touch, goes down, looks for the foul, none given.
Coach Brian Smith has special effects, so he doesn't have to yell so loud.
That's an advantage played. And that ball just sent to Pupke. So that matchup was back on September 16th at Glen Cove High School. Jack Klein and Miles Watson had a goal and an assist apiece. Oliver Williams, Justin Woodbine, and Luca Profeta each with a goal as well. Miguel Rivera, his goal was assisted by Jordan Flores. That was a lone tally for the Big Red. Woodbine plays it to the far sideline. Good touch by Klein in the box. Klein's shot blocked. That might have been Fisher with the attempt. And here's Perfetta. Good ball to Antoletti with his left peg. Goes back post. Woodbine! Heads just over. That was pretty stuff from Garden City. It's nice to have a 6'6" guy on the end of that cross.
There he is. Antoletti had his eye on him the entire time and just lofted it perfectly to the head of Woodbine. Just watch that thing float. Woodbine's got the size advantage, gets the hop just over the top of the net. And, you know, Woodbine just kind of, if you notice, it almost feels like he's just kind of cruising around the field, but finds himself. He floats.
Spaces, yeah.
He's not running, just kind of floating. And then gets to where he's got to be.
You know, he's got a completely different body, obviously, but think about how brilliant Messi's been over the years, right? Messi's not sprinting up the field, right? He's walking, he's finding his spaces, and then he's converting those chances. Watson in the box, fights off a tackle. Watson low across the edge of the 6. And nobody there at the end of it. That's a great job. As now, what do we have here? The extra by Costa. And it wasn't the initial foul. Ooh, look out, Bobby Baldwin. He almost lost his yellow card. But I was going to say, terrific job by Luis Rivera. First, what you do is you draw, you position your body in such a way that you're going to invite the contact, which he did. And then Costa, with a little bit of a boot, it looked like to the head as we see it again. Watch Rivas coming in here, number 3. Right here. See right here? Like he knew he was coming, so he just took a step in front.
Yeah, and then also when Costa was dragging his foot out, it looked like it was grabbed a little bit, but Costa getting hit with the flag. He was also the intended target in the front of the net as Glen Cove tries to attack.
And there's Woodbine, just sends it long. Watson's got the burners to get onto the end of this one, but Hernandez just inside his 18 picks it up. Well, you were looking for an increase, at least in intensity, and we are seeing that from Glen Cove in the early portions as Flores momentarily lost it. Guerra, big challenge in midfield, and a foul was called. Good work by Xavier Lizarraga.
Lizarraga limping a little bit, favoring, it looks like the right side.
Andrade plays it quickly. Not an ambitious effort from distance, well wide of Pupke's net. '49th minute, 1-0 the score. Luca Profeta, the goal for Garden City late in the first half, 38th minute. That's what is separating these two rivals. Here comes Watson again, trying to race onto it. And Hernandez grabs. And that way the tact is similar, because now look who Hernandez tries to find.
And now the Glen Cove soccer definitely taking a little bit more shape. This is what I expected out of the gate, and not as comfortable. 2 long balls there to Miles Watson as opposed to that little building and playing around with the ball. So Glen Cove certainly turning it up a notch as their fans start to bang the stands.
There is Luis Rivera, technical player. Really big part of Glen Cove's buildup. Yeah, and the fans with matching chants. All right, the Let's Go Let's go Trojans, followed by the Glen Cove chants as Woodbine takes a touch. Picking up the loose ball. Profeta now. Profeta plays it backward.
Frank Andrade got lost in his legs when he took that step, Woodbine. Andrade trying to attack, and Woodbine almost able to step right over him.
The more and more I watch Profeta, the more I'm a fan of his game. Low center of gravity, right? But he's always buzzing around the ball. Certainly, size-wise, significantly different than Woodbine. Great ball, Antoletti. Left foot, sends it in the box, header, Watson! Watson, the second ball, unable to get a touch. Cleared out to the edge of the 18. Kept alive by Garden City. There is Profeta, takes a touch to his right. Goes down, no foul. Now Glen Cove. Hernandez at midfield. And it's interesting, right? We saw different teams in different situations, and in that Syosset Uniondale Classic that we had in the AAA semifinals, it was Brett Waxer making the decision to man mark Zavala, the leader for Uniondale, right? A decision, he said, came to him at about 1 in the morning after watching the film of the semifinals for like the third or fourth time. We're not seeing that though here with Hernandez, right? Like it's recognizing where he is, but not necessarily marking him. Foul in the midfield. Ooh, and that could be a yellow card as the ball was cleared away.
Yeah, they've just kind of been playing keep away as far as the Henry Hernandez game strategy. But you say about how many different teams we've seen in the playoffs. I feel like we've seen 2 different teams the first 40 and what we're seeing now.
Glen Cove.
Even Garden City starting to muck it up and challenge it inside the box, putting some more numbers in. They're not getting the space they got before.
There's a touch, left-footed ball into the box. Hernandez made a run, trying to get to the to get on the end of that Guerra ball played in. No issues there for Pupke. Miles Watson. We have both Watson brothers in the game now. Younger brother Cole, a freshman.
Yeah, brother Cole going to be one of those guys joining Schreier for the long haul, just a freshman.
Good slide tackle.
You know, you pointed out with the B schools how a lot of freshmen, sophomore play in the smaller schools. Your freshman or sophomore getting minutes in Garden City. You've got a very bright future ahead of you and the trust of Coach Cutter early in your career.
Yeah, and you've also earned that.
Yeah, it says a lot.
Like you're not playing because of a lack of numbers. you're playing, one, you're on the team because you earned it. Interception by Cole Watson in the midfield. And he'll earn the free kick. Woodbine takes it quickly, but perhaps too quickly for Bobby Baldwin's liking.
Yeah, I don't think the ball ever stopped.
It never stops when Garden City plays.
No, it doesn't. But the clock does.
The
as
clock
that
did
ball
stop,
floats
indeed.
away.
As they'll put that ball back toward midfield. And now they'll restart. Antoletti to Profeta. There's Cole Watson. And pressure starts to come by Miguel Rivera. Good luck across the field, Dylan Fisher. Set to throw the ball in. Goes up that far sideline. Rob, you know, it is hard to defend for 80 minutes. And so you're right. At some point, you've got to force the issue, and that's what Danilo Gonzalez does there. But also, you've got to be precise with your passes, especially if you're going to try to locate a target forward.
Yeah, precisely. Your passing, your timing, everything. But I think we know exactly what Coach Smith said to them at halftime, because this is a different team. No more courtesy time and watch them pass around. We've got to start challenging, take the ball, bring the game to them. Press.
So you think in the first half, Glen Cove showed Garden City too much respect?
Without a doubt. I think they played Garden City soccer. Now they're playing Glen Cove soccer, and they could turn this thing around really quickly. They have been down, but never out.
Jordan Flores sent that ball to midfield. Here's Antoletti. Goes to Perfetta. Nice slide tackle. And here comes the man. Henry Hernandez. Angled his run, looks for a foul, none given. Stepping up, Danilo Gonzalez.
That was a real good challenge there by Antoletti up against Hernandez. No easy task there, keeping it clean.
Ooh, and a misplayed ball. That's a rare one for Garden City. An opportunity for Glen Cove. Ooh, and a dangerous free kick as well. Andrade drew it, and this is right in Henry Hernandez's wheelhouse.
And that's what happens when you force the ball. They make a mistake, you're going to draw fouls. Glen Cove playing Glen Cove soccer. Huge opportunity here.
With his cultured left foot, he'll have this go from just inside 30 yards. The wall, a 5-man wall set up for Garden City just outside the 18. Henry Hernandez, saved by Pupke. We heard in the last game, right, New Hyde Park saying their head coach wondering, I don't know if Ian Pupke can make a save. He hasn't had to. Well, there he proved it, making a quality save against one of the best attackers in Nassau County. And Gonzalez does the save. Hernandez makes 2 on the other side. So both keepers coming up big.
And this is what I've been waiting for. You know, if you play aggressive, you're also going to risk that counterattack, which Garden City's certainly capable of. But now you're making them work harder. And we'll get a look at it here. The initial shot stopped up in the air. And then the next one down low, showing that versatility. Incredible athleticism there by Hernandez.
Corner for Garden City. It's Perfetta to take. AR, Kenny Heller with some words for him. Perfetta takes it short, gets the return pass. Pressure comes his way. That one blocked, and where will it land? On the other side of that corner flag, and Kenny Heller points to another corner for Garden City. This one Perfetta will take long. It'll be an in-swinger. Terrific ball, back post, Woodbine. Return to sender header, but it's cleared. And there's Henry Hernandez. Miguel Rivera. And now Garden City. Antoletti puts it high in the air. Klein, and now it's Watson. Watson, 25 goals in the regular season. He's yet to score a postseason goal. Missed due to injury the first 2 games. And honestly, for Cutter, it was a perfect situation because you didn't need to bring him on. You don't know what percentage he was, but no problem. Put him on the side, let him heal up a little few more extra days until the biggest games. He was pretty comfortable in the idea that he can get past the previous two opponents without utilizing Miles Watson. Profeta, the interception, plays it to Antoletti. They'll play catch, and Profeta reverses it now. And Garden City, they open up space. Play a ball now down the right flank. Nice save. I believe that's Costa on the far side. And back up to Fisher.
We are now halfway through the second half.
60th minute, 1-0 the score for Garden City. This the Nassau Class AA final. Dylan Butler, Rob Anderson, our entire varsity media crew here from Farmingdale State College. Long ball over the top, no problem for Hernandez. And I know, Rob, the easy answer is not yet, but for Glen Cove, when do you start really pressing forward and maybe changing formations and tactics?
I don't know.
Right now already we kind of do see two forwards,
I was just
right?
about to say, I don't know that not yet is it. I think it's yet. I think it's time. You got 20 minutes left. What risk are you running?
And we know they can play multiple ways. Costa absorbs some pressure, and it'll go to the corner. Another corner for the Trojans.
On the note with handling pressure, too, Dylan Fisher getting challenged and looks really good tonight. He looks like he's light on his feet, moving the ball really well. A clinical slide tackle in the back. Big difference back there, and they've actually been putting some pressure on him.
Profeta curls it in, and there's the goal! Perfect off the training grounds. And it's Connor Griffin. What a service by Profeta. 2-0 Garden City.
Here it is, right off the corner. It's a line drive. Profeta and Connor Griffin finishes that ball. Absolutely gorgeous goal there by Connor Griffin. And again, that's the risk you take. Second corner kick of the game. And it's 2-0 Garden City. And now, Yet is certainly in play. They're going to have to kick up that notch, Glen Cove, and press.
What a final Luca Profeta is having. First, that goal late in the first half, the free kick from distance, and that gave the Trojans the 1-0 lead. And then you cannot place a corner any better than the one that he put right onto Connor Griffin at the near post. And that ball will go out for a goal kick.
Yeah, you said it, Dylan. He better, well, I don't think he's allowed to, but ask if he could take a piece of the turf and put it in his pocket. This field is something for him. I'd eat my meals here.
If you're the Farmingdale State coaching staff, you're like, you've seen our field, clearly. You play really well. Let's bring you into some of our other classrooms. We'll take you across the street. We'll have dinner at changing times.
We have dinner right there at the S in the middle. My goodness, and Dylan, where are the LICs this year? Hosted by Nassau County right here. So Garden City gets through this. Home sweet home for Luca.
He could have all the Chick-fil-A that he wants. Right down at on Route 110. So Glen Cove desperately needs to pull one back. And in a lot of ways, Rob, you kind of fall into the Garden City trap now, right? Because if you want to push your numbers forward, if you want to take some chances, this is what can happen. They can get a ball behind and really create havoc. It's one of the reasons why they've won every game they've played, and they've outscored their opposition now 80-6. This, the Trojans' 8th consecutive county final. That in itself is an unbelievable feat. but consider the fact that nobody on this field has won a county final. They've lost in the last 2 years. 2 years ago to this Glen Cove team, and last year to their rivals in Manhasset, a heartbreaker here at Farmingdale State College in overtime. Gabe Feldman scoring the overtime winner for Set. And it was heartbreak for Garden City. And we've heard the words from Cole Cutter all along. We are not celebrating any win. We beat Manhasset in the regular season at Adelphi. We beat them at their place. It doesn't matter because you play for this game. During this injury timeout, let's show you how these two teams got here. We rewind to the semifinals. And this is the classic. Look at Hernandez, slides in. So 1-0 Glen Cove, but Jericho, a little David Copperfield action. Somehow, Dylan Chawla came out of that. And Hernandez sneaks one inside the near post off that end line run. Diving header at the back post. We're 2-2. And then Henry Hernandez does what he does best. Look at that full volley, or the half, I guess, off the bounce, but still, that left-footed finish. Some brilliance. Garden City, New Hyde Park. Hey, we've seen that before, right? That ball to the back post. How about Antoletti? That culture left foot. A little cleanup in front for Costa. And then it was all GC. Woodbine, the touch that pulled the keeper out, and the subtle finish as well. And one more just for good measure by Jack Costa. 4-0 the win for Garden City.
And one thing that Garden City has managed to do that other teams have not managed to do is neutralize Henry Hernandez, and they've done it by just keeping the ball away from him, Dylan. It's, you know, he's not getting any opportunities. Like you said, they're not marking him. They're not really doing anything too creative other than don't get him the ball.
So we saw a stoppage for that injury. I think that might have been Adrian Oliveira, right? Number 4?
Yes.
So we hope he's able to return to the field. And in a lot of ways, that became a free timeout for both teams, but really for Glen Cove. You can kind of see from their coaching staff, right? Using those hand gestures and trying to figure things out, maybe changing some things formationally. They do still have those 2 attackers up top. As play resumes. Good takeaway for the Big Red. But it will be a Garden City throw. This is the first of our 4.
Garden City, Dylan Fisher.
As Dylan Fisher throws the ball in. County finals that we'll have for you on the Varsity Media Sports Network. When we get an opportunity, when we get a stoppage in play, we'll show you a couple of the next ones we have coming up. Woodbine, nice angled ball, takes a deflection. Now a chance for a counter for Glen Cove. That's Gonzalez, Danilo. Second ball won by Glen Cove. Good save by the Big Red, and we'll have that chance now. Let's pull up those games, and there we see it Saturday as we'll stop the clock. Bobby Baldwin knew we were going to be in a promo. I love it. He didn't want you to miss any action. Cold Spring Harbor Carl plays a terrific Class B final. Those two teams split their regular season games. They each won 4-2. So on aggregate, nothing separates those two squads. That should be a fun one. 6 o'clock start, but that comes after Lawrence and Floral Park. We saw both of those teams yesterday advance out of Jericho High School. Two very, very different styles, right? Lawrence, very technical, almost Garden City-esque. They'll push the ball around, they'll play it. They'll push, they'll probe, they'll penetrate. And Floral Park, in a lot of ways, they echo their head coach, right? And it's emotion, it's energy, it's effort. And that's a rematch of last year's county semifinal here at Farmingdale State. At the time, Floral Park was the #1 seed, undefeated, and Lawrence, the 5 seed, pulling off the upset. And I think Akil Rodney, as we'll have a stoppage again of the clock, will somehow remind his team of that game last year as they return to the scene of last year's heartbreaking defeat. Hernandez, what a touch to get to his left. It wasn't even a touch, it was just a movement of his body to set up his left foot. And really, that's the most goal dangerous, other than the free kick, that we've seen him today.
Yeah, you can see how they get the ball to him. A nice little touch there, lets it go through the legs and a quick turn, but hitting the defender, and the second one flies deep onto the track here at Farmingdale State College.
Woodbine picks up that second ball, sends it heavy, but by himself there was Profeta, just runs out of turf. As we're inside the final 14 of these 80 minutes of regulation time. Garden City has yet to concede this postseason. 3-0, 4-0, and 2-0 now. Look at Woodbine. Just picks the pocket, and now a chance at a counter. Turning in the box, firing. What a save by Hernandez! The big man got up.
He can move, and excellent ranging to his left as there's a quick turn touch. That shot by Jack Klein. Looked like Costa might have had a look. Ball gets to Klein. What a save there by Hernandez.
And how big could that one loom large? Oh, look out. Here comes Costa trying to split defenders. He has Profeta wide open. There he is. Luca Profeta drives into the box. Slide challenge. And a really good one by Danilo Gonzalez. Throw in for the Trojans.
Yeah, beautiful tackle there, but how impressive.
Corner, excuse me. Sorry, Rob.
Yeah, but I would say Costa, 2 guys on him, got that ball out.
His last corner, the other flag, was perfectly placed to the near post. That's where Connor Griffin ran onto it. This one driven out to the edge of the 6. Found his intended target, but a header off the mark.
Substitution on the field for Glen Cove.
And you know what? That was Griffin again. Those guys have such a terrific symmetry, don't they?
Goal kick by Christopher Hernandez.
So Hernandez, with his left foot, the senior, sends it up the field. Gonzalez steps up, tries to win it back, and here is Profeta, a goal and an assist for Garden City. Little step over, plays to Costa, attacks some space. And there's Costa. Runs at a defender, runs at a second, advantage played. Woodbine to the right. A chance now for Garden City to put this one away, and good step up defensively. Rivera's got to come back. That shot doesn't miss by much from that top edge of the 18.
Yeah, but another good look for that Garden City offense there. And now they're starting to push up a little bit here, trying to get that third decisive goal, not playing keep away. Still driving.
And there's Hernandez. Woodbine, the third defender who stepped in there to take it away.
Once again, that is championship t-shirts right to the left of the bleachers.
How about that work? I think that was Costa. No, was it Costa or Klein? It might have been Klein. But it's Woodbine now in midfield. Cooper makes a run. Can he catch up to this one? He cannot. But we talk about the success. This is back-to-back years that Garden City enters the county final with an 18-0 record. How about over the course Since 2019, Rob, 95-5-5 for Garden City.
That's absolutely incredible. Coach Cutter enjoying so much of it year after year.
If this was in Cutter's native country, he'd have a Sir in front of his name by now.
He certainly would. He might get knighted in Garden City.
But along with all that success has come this narrative that they've come up short in the biggest games, right? Back-to-back losses in the county final. Now they've won 12 county championships, 3 Long Island titles as well. But along with those 95 wins have been some difficult defeats. Woodbine restarts quickly, maybe too quickly. You go back to last year, the overtime loss to Manhasset and the loss to Glen Cove. They beat Glen Cove in 2021, and that COVID spring season, as the clock stops, they were co-champions with Great Neck North. In 2019, they went 15-1-3. That one loss was to Jericho in the Class A final. So in recent years, they've lost more than they've won in the county final.
But you said those words at the end, in the county final. They get there. The expectations are that high,
That's
though.
the thing, 95-5-5. I think at least, 3 or 4 of those losses have been in the county final. Now, I'm not sure how much these kids know that full history, the ones that are on the field, and they probably, Cutter doesn't probably want them to know it, but they know last year.
Yeah, they know the recent history, absolutely. And last year, again, Nassau County BOCES advanced them before the game was over. And then had to fix the bracket the next day. So, yes, the expectations are always high. And again, you got to tip your hat to Coach Cutter because that's not an easy thing to do. Could ask Aaron Boone, right?
Cutter has said,
ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please remain in the stand at the end of the game.
Get to that in a moment as Costa splits defenders. But Cutter has said he's been really happy with his team this year, happy with the application and the hunger. They played throughout this season and they've trained throughout this season like a team that lost in the county final the last 2 years. Called his team very driven, and he said he couldn't ask for anything more from them. In the regular season, it was just about turning that mentality, that intensity dial up to the playoffs. They showed that late in the regular season on a game we had on the Varsity Media Sports Network against Manhasset. And now they're 7 minutes and change away from exercising some of those demons and being back atop the mountain in Nassau Class AA. But the job is not done, and nobody on that field, I can assure you, thinks it is. Dangerous second ball. Woodbine challenges. Throw in for Garden City. And we've really not truly seen Garden City. There's been 18 wins. They've not celebrated those wins. We were here for the last one. What do we see from them after the game, right? Maybe some pats, maybe some hugs, but nothing elaborate, right? It's get on the line, let's shake hands. Cooper behind. What a save by Hernandez again! Robbing Jacob Cooper.
Perhaps the best save, one of the best saves we've seen this entire tournament. Absolutely incredible. Again, he's a big boy. That shot hard, just ranges out with that left hand, gets the palm on it. Not even fingertips. He got over there quickly.
And he parries it to the side to make sure there's no Garden City player who could run onto it and tap it in.
He is showing his stuff in this playoff.
Now, he's the reason why it's not 3 or 4-0 Garden City right now.
He's part of the reason why Jericho wasn't able to get through. He's just absolutely phenomenal. And again, for his size, his ability to range to his left and right.
And now a chance on the counter for Glen Cove. A pump of the brakes, numbers join. A double and a corner for Glen Cove. Good work by Steven Santos, that speedy winger. Glen Cove. It's a corner by Guerra, the sophomore. Back post, headed by Woodbine. Another opportunity from the other corner now for the Big Red. 75th minute. Served in, Rivera. Second ball tapped towards the goal. No problem for Pupke.
And Dylan, if you want any indication of where we are in the game, it was 5 minutes and 12 seconds when they took the first corner kick. The second corner kick literally 20 seconds after that. They are moving that ball quickly. They want to try to get something going against this clock.
And they had to go from one corner to the other as well.
20 seconds. I was counting, watching it exactly 20 seconds, 2 corner kicks.
You can tell your guys, it can happen.
It can. Miracle.
Throw in for Glen Cove, and it's starting to get perhaps to that miracle territory for the Big Red. Can they get a big comeback here in the dying stages? Not if Jack Costa has something to say about it. Costa steps up, comes up this near sideline. That's where Klein has it, goes back to Costa, and you could see the size of this Garden City team. Woodbine stepped on the ball, and now it's a foot race for it. And a comfortable clearance. Nice help by Charlie Costa. A miscommunication by Glen Cove, who, as you said, moving fast, but in that case, too fast.
Again, Dylan, how dangerous this Garden City team is. You sit back, you let them mess around with the ball, waiting for an opportunity. They take advantage of one in the first half. You come back the second half, a different team. Start pressing and putting a lot more pressure on them, and they bang in one in the second half of the game. So 2 different looks by Glen Cove, but the same look from Garden City, 2 goals.
And if not for the heroics of Hernandez, perhaps 2 more get put behind him. He's been outstanding today. Hernandez, he's been quiet. Turn, and that's where Rivera is at his best, when he's able to do one of those turn and goes. Driven ball from the back line. The initial run was checked, and maybe if the run continued, you would have had that runner in the box. Glen Cove, no stranger to winning the biggest game either. 4 county titles in their history. Fans, or students at least, for Garden City with the goodbye chants, as some of the Glen Cove faithful head to the exits with 92 seconds remaining in this one.
And on cue, they ask people to remain in the stands.
You don't have to say that to the Garden City fans. They will go nowhere, that is for sure.
But they do celebrate both teams at the end. Nassau County does a really nice job of acknowledging the runner-up and crowning the champion, which at this point seems to be the Trojans.
There's a minute left.
Going to battle off.
The Garden City fans starting to get in position for a celebration. You see them there along the edge, moving their way down. A lot of those kids, too, were here last year. They watched their bitter rivals win. There were a lot of costumes a year ago. Less today. They were on both sides, but 30 seconds remains in this one. Garden City content to do what Garden City does, push the ball around. And they're starting to feel it on that sideline. 20 seconds to go, and we're seeing some heads bounce and some bodies get ready to sprint as their parents and fans rise to their feet. It is difficult to go through a season unbeaten. It's even harder to do so and win a county title. But that is exactly what Garden City has done tonight. The top-seeded Trojans, they are your Nassau Class AA champions.
At the end of the second half, Garden City has taken this win.
And you could see the celebration by the Trojans as they celebrate county title number 13. What does it mean to Cutter and his boys? Now he's probably saying, now is the time that we celebrate.
Congratulations to both teams for an amazing season.
You see their athletic director, Ed Ramirez, behind, chronicling it with his cell phone. But what a moment for these guys. Again, same field, same stage. And this time, they were the stars on that stage.
They certainly were the stars on the stage. They kept their composure the entire game, in full control for 40 minutes. Second half, Glen Cove brought a lot more pressure, but they still played Garden City soccer. A tip of the hat to a fantastic season for Brian Smith and his team, but it's going to be Garden City representing Nassau County in the Long Island Championship between either the winner of Comswog or West Islip.
Yeah.
And I bet they have their tickets purchased already to go to Patton Med Saturday, November 2nd at 12 p.m. to see who they're going to face off against.
And those are wild seeds as well. Like, these aren't the top seeds, like in Suffolk. I was texted this last night. I'm going to see if I can pull it up while we have a moment. Because I don't want to be wrong when I mention it. It's 9 versus 11, the seeds.
Was it 11?
Yeah.
Wow, I knew the 9. Yeah, West Islip a really solid team. They apparently got a lot of momentum rolling towards the end. But yeah, I hope Garden City parents or with the bus, whatever they got, have nothing going on. That's going to be a great game to go watch.
Garden City wins their first county title since 2021. That year, they beat
Ladies and gentlemen, we
Glen
ask that
Cove.
please remain in the
That
stands
was 3-2.
for the brief
Finn Connolly
award
getting the game winner of that one in the final 8 minutes. Tonight, it wasn't, they didn't need late drama. Luca Profeta scored late in the first half, and then they tacked on a second goal with a beautiful corner by Profeta, finding Griffin. And that was all they needed tonight, 2-0. They've yet to concede a goal this postseason. How impressive is that? As well as Upke will have Cole Watson take a ride on his shoulders as their parents and their fellow students, they clap those guys up. The support has been terrific for Garden City. I see a Watson head there. I think I see a Fisher head. Oh, I see a Woodbine. There's a Woodbine. And when we start the post-game ceremony, we'll bring that to you as well. Live here on the Varsity Media Sports Network. 19-0 for Garden City. And you mentioned Glen Cove. A team that certainly played its best soccer at the right time. They got hot in the postseason. You know, I'm not sure if there's a lot of people outside that huddle who expected when these playoffs started that Glen Cove would be on the other side playing Garden City. A lot of people thought it would be Manhasset, but New Hyde Park upset that bracket. And then Glen Cove, courtesy of that unbelievable win in the semifinals over Jericho, they found their spot there. And for Glen Cove, and as we've seen throughout this postseason, it's that beginning to get that realization, right? And especially for a guy like Henry Hernandez, his stellar high school career has just ended. And again, it's a guy who 25 goals this year, 8 game-winning goals in the postseason, and this is a difficult pill for him to swallow. You could see the emotion for Henry Hernandez, how much this means to him and how difficult it is to realize that this, in fact, is the end.
Yeah, he's had a stellar career, high school ball, and also in the middle of that circle, and almost inconsolable Christopher Hernandez. But, man, he really showed his stuff as well. A fantastic goalkeeper doing his thing today.
So as you mentioned, these Trojans, their season continues. As they'll compete for a Long Island championship, they'll try to win their 4th LIC. Their last one came in 2017. And I think we're just awaiting Glen Cove to make their way across the field for the ceremony to begin.
Yeah, Al Freeman heading over there saying, all right, guys, time to get the show on the road. So, and given the orders now.
And they also clap up their fans who return the love. And we had I'm not sure if Chris Sweeney was with me at the time, but we had the pleasure of doing a Glen Cove playoff game at their place. And what an atmosphere it is at Glen Cove. I mean, it's a community effort. They come out in droves. They love. It's a soccer community. So through thick and through thin and through wins and losses, they support their boys.
They certainly do. They come out in numbers, and so another little hidden secret in case you go there, they sell fantastic Jamaican beef patties in the shack.
You tell me that now?
I ate 2 before my game one day. It wasn't. We were playing them, and I went
your
over
center
there.
back didn't.
No. I told them too. I was like, "You'll stay away from it." It's
all right. Let's send it to the field now for our post-game ceremonies.
Congratulations to the Glen Cove Big Red. And may the captains for the Big Red receive your semi-finalist cup. Congratulations, gentlemen. And congratulations to your 2024 Section 8 Class AA Boys Soccer Champions, the Garden City Trojans! May the captains for the Trojans receive your championship plaque.
And what a moment for Garden City. A championship a couple of years in the making, Rob. And they will celebrate this one tonight. And you know what? It's back to work tomorrow. They've got more soccer to play. And as many county titles that they've won and Long Island championships, they've yet to win a state. So you got to figure, did one of the parents order some fireworks here as well?
That's what it seems like. They're cheering every time there's a.
We'll send it, I think, back down to the field as each individual player will be called to pick up their championship medals.
Charles Coaster. Jacob Antonetti. Luca Pavetta. Alexander Komorowski. Henry Cooper. Thomas Bergioni. Nicholas Klein. Thomas Bergioni. Nicholas Klein. William Egan. Jack Klein. Sean Conway. Logan Mullally. Jack Cobb. James Martin. Justin Woodbine. James Delegati. Michael Archer. And James Costa. Once again, can we get a round of applause for your 2024 Sexual Class AA Boys Soccer Champion? The Garden City Trojans!
And there's more to be given. Cole Watson and Miles Watson also picking up their awards. Are there any others?
It's what he's given. It's not him. Blame whoever gave him the paper.
So they give out the additional awards. And making sure everybody's covered here for Garden City. What a moment, Rob, this is for these Trojans. And again, they were on the other side last year. They felt this heartbreak, and you could see how much it means to these guys now.
And quite the squad they've got. It's an army down there, and that's what they'll be bringing with them to the Long Island Championship, which is going to be played on November 5th here at the same field after the November 2nd victor over in Section 11, Suffolk County. And then only one team leaves the island to head up to Middletown, and Garden City's hoping to book their bus pass up there.
So GC, they win. Garden City. They win the Nassau Class AA championship game, beating Glen Cove 2-0. The first of our 4 county championship broadcasts for our entire Varsity Media crew. Our executive producer, Ben Turchin, who I think still has Halloween candy at his house. If you want to go knock on his house, get some Snickers bars. For our technical director, Chris Sweeney, who does not have any more candy at his house. For Jeff Damo and Joe Foster, bringing you all those moving images from our broadcast partner, Rob Anderson, Dylan Butler. Thanking you for joining us from Farmingdale State College. We'll look forward to seeing you next time right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.